Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about another Supreme Court decision. Yet another Supreme Court decision. One of my favorite sayings. And what this is really going to boil down to. And I think what people probably need to hear the most. Okay, so this decision was 6-3 in Grants Pass versus Johnson. The short version here is that it criminalizes being homeless. I mean, that's not how it's written. What it does is that it allows local jurisdictions to enforce criminal penalties against people who are camping, even if the jurisdiction in question doesn't have another place for them to go. There's no shelter. They can enforce criminal penalties. There were a number of jurisdictions that supported this move. Now, there are a number of ways to go about talking about this. You can make the moral arguments. You could make arguments that are biblical in nature, considering many of the places that have a huge issue with this frame themselves as Christian communities. You could go that route. But realistically, when you are talking about a population that is invisible to most people, those arguments don't work. They don't see the population, so the moral arguments, the biblical arguments, they just kind of fall away. They don't really matter. So we're going to do this a different way. It's cheaper to be a good person. It's one of my favorite sayings. It's pretty much always true. If you support this, if you support your jurisdiction going this route and criminalizing the homeless, understand your taxes are going up or your services are getting cut because you are choosing the most expensive option. It is cheaper to provide housing or supportive housing than it is to put them in jail. It's cheaper to provide housing than it is to leave them on the street. It is cheaper to be a good person. For those communities that were so intent on enforcing this that they took it to the Supreme Court, if the problem is as significant and there are as many people as you're indicating, make no mistake about it, it's going to get really expensive really quick. Your schools will suffer, your services will suffer, or your taxes will go up. You are not being the person Mr. Rogers knew you could be. This is the decision. The Supreme Court allows it. It doesn't mean that the people in those jurisdictions have to allow it. They can vote against it. They can campaign against it. And unless you want to pay more, you will. There's a whole bunch of other, moral arguments that could be made. But I feel like for those people who need a push on this, let's be honest, it doesn't matter, right? Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.